Hey guys, it's Brook again. Hope you're doing well. As you're well aware, I've started to use a hammock when wild camping. That has actually meant that I require some kind of cover, so I've been using a tarp in order to keep the rain off me. And when we were looking at tarps, we looked at various different kinds. One of the kinds we looked at was the DD Tarp, because it had an extra benefit. Those tarps can actually be turned into tents with very simple pegging and just a few guy ropes, and also a walking pole. So that meant if we can't pitch our hammock for some reason, if there just aren't the right trees or we just can't find anywhere, we can actually, using the tarp we would carry with us, make a tent. We went with the XL Tarp, which is not 3 by 3 meters, but 4.5 by 3 meters. And I've actually made a successful tent out of it. But I've been thinking the past few days, what if, given the generous size of the XL Tarp, I could make a tent that also included a ground sheet by folding some of the excess underneath. And then I wouldn't need to carry a ground sheet with us either, we'd just be able to tuck it underneath. Well, I've done some paper diagrams and I've got an idea of what I want to do, but writing things down on paper is one thing and doing it in the real world is another. So I'm going to actually try it out now. I'll speed up the footage for you, and if it's successful, I'll show you how I did it. So there you go guys, proof of concept. Probably needs a tiny bit more refining, but it definitely does work. You don't need to worry about getting your knees wet, and this bit here is retractable. I've not pegged this bit down, so once you've gone in, that can just be rolled back up, so to keep it dry, nice and safe. And in fact, you could wrap your bags. You could put your bags at the entrance again to screen off some of the wind, and then wrap the tarp around to give it a waterproof layer, which is pretty cool when you think about it. Okay guys, I'm going to get inside now and I'm going to show you, hopefully you get a bit more sort of an idea of the space with me inside of it. I reckon it can comfortably hold 2 people. But I will also demonstrate the idea of rolling your bag up and keeping everything dry, but still giving you a dry porch to move out of. Okay guys, I've left some of the guy ropes on the tarp to make it a bit easier for the tutorial for me, but I will explain when they need to be tied on. The first thing you need to do is have the tarp with the waterproof outer side against the floor. Once you've done that, grab one of the short ends of the tarp. Since we're using the XL tarp, it's not a square tarp, it's rectangular, and pull it over to its counterpart side, essentially folding the tarp in half. This is now one of the front edges of the tarp, the top of the front edge. For the majority of this tutorial you can ignore the undersheet, because you can fix that into place and manoeuvre it once you're inside, once the tent's been built. So we're only dealing with the outer husk of this, so we'll throw that under. This part is going to fold under to the next, or just past the next attachment point. So it's going to come under to roughly just past that attachment point. And once there, you're going to take a peg and you're going to peg them out. You're going to then do the same on the opposite side. So now that the 2 front attachment points have been pegged down, you're going to take your walking pole and you're going to place it in and raise it up right underneath what is now the middle attachment on the top of the tarp. It's reinforced underneath, which makes it a great place to put your pole against. So I'm going to go under and do that right now. And once you've done that, your tent should look something like this. The next step is to pull out these inner bits, these attachment points, and they're going to just flop onto the outside. Flop is the technical term to create almost of a hood. The next thing we'll be doing is attaching a guy line on the attachment point that is currently hanging over on both sides, and also attach a guy line to the very front of the hood attachment point. Again, during this process of lifting up the centre of the tent with the tent pole, it will pull the outer shell, exposing the inner piece of the tarp. So just push that back under again. We want that to remain nice and dry. The next thing to do, once you've attached your guy line to this point, is place a peg in the only remaining side attachment point, stretching the tent out slightly and tying your guy line to it also. Now that these side guy ropes have been attached and tightened and the sides here have been pegged down, the last thing to do is to take this guy rope, stretch it out, place a peg in the ground and tighten it. Now that the guy ropes have been tensioned, the tarp tent is now ready. You may choose to peg down the back inner parts of the ground sheet, or what is now the ground sheet, but remember to keep this front bit open because it gives a really nice access into the low, narrow door without getting your knees dirty, and it also enables you to roll up your bag to act as a further windscreen while keeping your bags and other property nice and dry.